Hi, welcome back to the Positive Prepper. So I had said in my last video that I was going to try to get out these back-to-back videos sooner rather than later. We all know how it goes when life kind of happens. So I'm doing those right now. This is the first one. I wanted to take this video, when you go around and you watch all these videos and you watch the news and you do your research on things, it's really easy to get caught down in the quagmire of all the negativity, right? All the chaos and the crises that are going on. So I wanted to take this video to celebrate some of the victories that are happening right now and things that I think we really need to celebrate and take these moments for what they are, even if in the bigger picture it may not seem like they make a whole lot of difference, but they do. And they're victories that we need to celebrate. So the first one, of course, is United Airlines. They were mandating that all of their employees get jabbed, and they've now backed off on that. Yay! I don't know if it was forced or if it was voluntary. I do not know. I believe that there may have been a court case that said that they had to accept exemptions, whether it was medical or religious. So, it's the end of October. These people are going to be able to keep their jobs, right? Christmas is, 2 months away? A little over. So we need to celebrate that these people are not going to lose their jobs. The second thing, the National School Boards Association. Remember the letter that they sent to the Justice Department calling parents domestic terrorists, basically. But they also now have apologized for wanting investigations into the parents and whether or not they should be considered the DTs. So that's another victory that we have to be super proud of. There were enough people out there that made their voices heard and pushed for the School Board Association to recognize the fact that parents do have and should have and will continue to have a say in the education that their children receive in a public education setting. So another great victory. The next one, I don't know if, I don't watch mainstream media. The only time that I watch my local news is to find out what it's going to be like for the weekend. Am I going to be able to get stuff done outside, or is that a canning day, right? So I don't watch a lot of mainstream media. But if you go in and you just kind of see what they're talking about, and then if you also go in and read some of the articles that their contributors are putting out, they are beginning to question a lot of the things that we have been questioning for a long time. So, for example, CNN's Scott Jennings, and he's a CNN contributor. I think he was a Republican something or other before. But he was actually discussing in one of his op-eds about the current person in the White House's failings and the disapproval ratings and the last town hall that was had, and how it just, we don't have a leader. And then even the Associated Press and Political are calling him out on his untruths, if you will. Now, I don't know if you remember when the big DT was there in the Oval Office. They fact-checked everything he said. Oh, I clipped my nails today. Oh, I want to see doctor's reports, right? That he actually clipped his nails today. That was the craziness of their fact checking. I'm hoping at some point that they do the same with Brandon. The next thing, that huge spending bill that he wants to get through hasn't been passed. And that's because there's a lot of pushback now from both the Dems and the Repubs and the Independents. And they're saying this is ludicrous. This is money that we don't have. It's going to make inflation go insanely high. It's a debt that we have. If we're going to take this debt, it better be for good purposes. And I just want to give you a quick insight into one of the things that he's dealing with right now is there's this big push for all of this climate change stuff, right? But now, because of the shortages on the natural gas specifically and coal, they want, and I don't remember the company, please forgive me, I did not put that down in my notes, but they're asking them to increase production, which increases the stuff going out into the atmosphere. And so they're talking out both sides of their mouth. We want climate change. We don't want all this bad stuff going out into our air. But on the other hand, we don't have enough natural gas, so we want you to increase production, which increases the carbon emissions that go up. Okay? But the positive, the victory, is that this bill has not passed. And from my understanding, the latest discussions on it have dropped it quite substantially. Obviously, we don't want this at all. If it were truly about infrastructure and if it was truly things that really made a positive difference in everybody's lives all across the board, I think it would be a different story, but that's not what they're doing. There's a lot of pet projects in there. And so this bill has not been passed. So we have to celebrate that victory while we have it. And then another one, the banking and the IRS tracking. So initially, they were going to track all transactions over $600. That got changed, and they want to track transactions $10,000 and more. Okay, well, that still affects most Americans, right? But the pushback was had a lot of grit to it. And that pushback came from 40 trade associations, and that included a lot of the banking coalitions that said, we're not going to give out our customers' private banking information. Okay, so there was the privacy concerns. There was no liability on the side of the IRS about what they were actually going to do with that data, with that personal financial information. What are they looking specifically at, and how are they going to store that data? And then the fact, of course, that it's still, even at $10,000, will target almost every American. But we have to celebrate that victory, that it went from $600 to $10,000. And of course, if they keep getting that pushback, we have to celebrate the fact that possibly there is a possibility that this won't even be included in whatever that final bill looks like. So let's celebrate that. And then the last thing is that a lot of celebrities, whether they're in sports, in music, or in the film industry, are pushing back on the jab mandates. There was and I don't remember where it was, I believe possibly in New York. There was I don't know if it was a baseball, I don't follow sports anymore. I used to be a huge football fan. I haven't brought myself to watch those games yet just because of, you know, the political stuff that they got into instead of just being a sport, something to watch. So I haven't watched sports. I don't know if it was a baseball player or a basketball player or football player. But there was a big riot, basically, a big protest because they didn't like burn things down. But there was a big protest because this person was not allowed to play because he refused, right? And there's a lot more of these celebrities and people, big name people, sports people, music concerts have been shut down by the artist because they don't believe in what's going on. And so we are gaining victories that, you know, sometimes it's easy to forget when you're in the midst of all this crisis and chaos that's going on. But when you pull back that lens and you look at these victories that, you know, they might seem small, but in the big scheme of things, they are making a big difference for a lot of people. Okay? So we need to keep getting that voice out there and being the loudest one in the room, I guess, is how we get the things done. But let's celebrate these victories. So as preppers, keep up that good fight. Continue prepping. But remember that while the worst is yet to come, it is going to be a dark winter. We need to celebrate these victories because it shows us that not all hope is lost. And so if you can think of any other, let's make this a positive video. If you can think of any other examples where, you know, we're getting these victories, I would love to hear about in the comments. I'd love to get a dialogue about it. Let's brighten everybody's day with this. And I want to leave you with this Bible verse, Proverbs 3:5. I think it's one that almost everybody knows. Trust the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. God's got this. So stay positive. Please let me know if you can think of any other positive things that are going on out there. You know, let's share that good vibe for today. And remember that I have 2 videos on Rumble currently. I am almost ready to put a 3rd one out. And I'm going to be doing another video here for Positive Prepper that I will be putting out tomorrow. And actually, I think I have 2 more that I'm ready to put out in here. So, 2 more consecutive days. So, alrighty. Please, y'all, take care. Stay safe. Keep prepping. God bless.